Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about, is it better to have multiple cheap guns or is it better to have, one really expensive gun, okay? And to answer that, I'm going to go back to the flintlock era, okay? The flintlock was actually not the best design at the time. The wheel lock that came before this was actually considered more reliable. The way that worked is it had a flint that came up and it had a wheel that was under, that you would wind up and it was under spring tension, and when you press the trigger it would release that wheel, create a spark, okay? And that's what would ignite your powder. The flintlock that came after that was cheaper, okay? And because it was cheaper, you could put more of these into circulation. Put this down. Now, that's actually very significant because at the time of the American Revolution, okay, all the farmers basically had these cheaper guns. If they didn't have them, the American Revolution would have never started, okay, because the French were looking for proof that the colonists actually had a chance of winning the war before they were willing to come in and support it and aid them, okay? So if they didn't have the cheaper hunting grade rifles, they would have never got to the point where the French would have came in and actually aided them. Okay, so now let's fast forward to the modern day flintlock. Okay, the AR-15. Okay, this Smith & Wesson MP-15. This one's got 10,000 rounds on it. Okay, all original parts, original gas rings. The gun is very reliable. Okay, I initially paid $700 for it. Now that was back when Obama was in office. Today you can get this gun basically brand new for about $500. So I'm going to call this a $500 gun. This Palmetto here, this one I paid a total of $350 for it. Basically it was $130 for the lower, $220 for the upper, $350 total. And since I've gotten this gun, I've stopped using this other gun because basically I'm testing this gun out. So far I have just over 500 rounds on this gun, and I haven't even cleaned it yet. So the gun is very reliable. At some point I'll take the gun apart and I'll clean it and I'll do a video on it, and we'll talk about this gun. So here I have a $350 gun that's very reliable. It's been working very well so far. So why would I want to have two of these guns instead of, let's say, one Daniel Defense? Okay. Well, for one thing, let's talk about a combat situation, right? If I'm, let's say shit hits the fan, I'm defending my home, right? I'm shooting, incoming bullet comes in, misses me, hits the rifle right through the receiver. Okay, the gun is now out of operation. Okay, it doesn't make a difference. It wouldn't make a difference if this was a Daniel Defense or a Smith & Wesson. If the gun gets shot in the receiver, it's not going to work anymore. Okay, so I'd rather have two of these guns than one Daniel Defense gun. Another thing that can happen in a combat type of situation is the gun can get dropped and it can get run over by a truck. Again, a Daniel Defense gun is not going to do any better if it gets run over than either one of these guns. Okay, so that's a realistic combat type of situation. The gun is more likely to get damaged from something else externally than it is to break internally. Okay. Now another reason why I want multiple guns like this is in a shit hit the fan type of situation. I'm going to get lots of friends and family that are going to be coming to me, for defense. Okay. And I want to have guns to arm them. Okay. I'd rather have them armed than sitting in my house just taking up space. Okay. So that's another reason why I want multiple guns, lots of magazines, lots of cheap ammunition. Okay, in my opinion, any AR-15, any 9mm you have, they have to be capable of shooting steel ammo, because steel ammo is cheaper. Because it's cheaper, you can stockpile more of it. Also, if you're going to be supplied by somebody, let's say if you're going to be resupplied by your neighbor or somebody else, it is most likely that they're going to resupply you with steel case ammunition. So you want to make sure that your gun will run steel case ammunition. Okay. Now there's another reason why I'm also in favor of multiple cheap guns, and that's a political one. Okay. The Supreme Court says that firearms in common use cannot be banned. So the more of these guns we can put into circulation, the easier our case is to prove for common use. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether the gun is a Daniel Defense, or Palmetto. One Daniel Defense gun is equal to one rifle. Okay, one Palmetto AR is equal to one rifle. Okay, so as far as the courts are concerned, they're looking at total numbers. Okay, not that they know what the total numbers are, but they get estimates, through the manufacturers. I want to put millions, tens of millions of these Palmettos into circulation, and at $350 a piece, that's doable. With the Daniel Defenses that typically run, $1,500 and up, you're not going to put millions upon millions of those into circulation. Okay. Let's talk about handguns, Glocks. Okay. The best, cheapest handgun that you can buy. Okay, it's not my favorite gun to carry. It's not my favorite gun to shoot, but it is the gun that I would want for a combat situation. It's the gun that I would definitely recommend everybody have at least two of each. Right? You want to have two of these. This one over here, this Glock 17, it just came back from repair. It took 75,000 rounds to kill this gun. Okay, and basically that was a minor repair. Basically the trigger stopped resetting. It took 75,000 rounds to do it. Okay, now I'm not telling you guys to go out there and buy junk. Okay, I'm not telling you to go buy Tauruses and Kel-Tecs, and guns like that. Yes, you can get, let's say, a Taurus, for maybe $350. Okay, it's worth it paying the $550 for this gun, because this gun is basically going to go the distance. Okay, but likewise, I would rather have two of these Glocks, okay, than one H&K. Okay, basically, for the same reason as the AR-15. More of these is better. Okay, on shotguns, basically I have a Lynx 12 here. This is a Saiga 12 clone. Saiga 12s were great guns. We can't import those anymore. This Lynx 12 is actually an improvement over that. I'm going to do a separate video on how it's an improvement. But my Saiga 12 had some 30,000 rounds on it. And this one over here so far has some 3,000 rounds on it. A great, a very good, reliable gun. Basically, you can get it, shipped with tax and all. I think that right now it's going for about $450. Okay, so here we go. Basically AR-15s. Let's say an average of $500. Glocks, average of $500. Lynx 12, Saiga Lynx 12 shotgun, average of about $500. Okay, you want to have at least two of these guns. Okay, I'm not saying have just two, but have at least two. At the point where you have 5 of those, yeah, at that point maybe you can splurge on a Daniel Defense or an H&K or one of those guns. But these are the guns. These are the guns that are really going to protect our Second Amendment. These are the guns. By selling millions upon millions of these and putting these into circulation, we're able to make a very strong case for the Supreme Court. It also makes it impossible that if they were to actually pass some type of a future gun ban, the more of these we can put into circulation, the harder it is to enforce any future gun bans. If you got any comments, please post them. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Talk to you guys next time.